I think generally that those things become prohibitive and that they're detrimental to the lower class because you're making the barrier to entry higher so that there's even tougher mobility between the two.
Have you ever gotten a manicure?
No. And we haven't hashed this out fully either, too.
Okay. I've gotten a couple. I've gotten one on my own, which is probably the most embarrassing. But I've also gotten one with Lauren, and but the one on my own was like, I don't know. It was like a friend did it, so like it wasn't like a real manicure. And then Lauren, the one I went with Lauren, that was like an actual like salon, or did you call them salon?
Yeah, like a nail salon.
Nail salon, yeah. Okay, cool. And that was the legitimate experience. But when you get done, your nails are just like when they peel back the cuticle and everything, it just feels so good. I've also gotten a pedicure before too. But we were talking about this with you and Jenny because, and Lisette. I was talking about it with Lisette, but you weren't even on the call. And
okay.
This is like last Monday because Lisette had just gotten her not this last one, but the one before. Lisette had just gotten her nails done, and she went to a salon to get them done. And I was talking about it because I have Lauren did my toes, so my toenails are painted right now. You can't tell, but there's gel paint on them because Lauren's got that UV gel lamp, and I was telling her about that, and she goes, so she started telling me about guys in Colombia who get their nails done, like guys. I was like, oh, like so it must be like more socially acceptable there for guys to go to salons and do that. And she goes, oh no. She goes, she says, no, they come to, they pay someone to come to their house and they do it in private because they can't go be seen in a salon, because that's like gay.
I don't get it because, well, it's just feminine, right? Like it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so they come to your house, but do your nails not have the same appearance afterwards?
See, yeah, but that's, you can't make the argument that
so that's
doing
fine,
gay things.
good.
You can't do the argument for doing gay things if it's natural. Like my nails just naturally look this good. So I was like, I totally said, I actually think she thinks more gay if you think it's gay. Because then you're not secure in your own sexuality. That you're afraid that if you're going to go in a nail salon and be seen as feminine or gay as they explain it, then...
Is that like the perspective in Colombia? Is that it's like a gay thing to do? Or it's just like a...
Well, that's how Lisa was explaining it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think so there are some things I think like in the US that I would think... Maybe that's like a feminine thing, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a gay thing.
Yeah, but I can argue, though, like, why would you not want to be seen as feminine, though?
Not seen as...
Like, why would you care?
Oh, yeah. Just
and yeah, because, people associate femininity to, like women or gay men.
Mm.
And... I think if you don't care about the delineation, then that just means you're comfortable in your sexuality and you're masculine in your own way.
Yeah, I guess I don't. It's been a long time since I've been in an environment where somebody would judge vocally somebody else for that. Just because I guess I'm not really surrounded by that anymore. Was how I grew up, I guess. And maybe times have just changed a little bit. I don't think so. I think it was just the different environments. But in general, I just don't like people like being mean.
Yeah. What did they do in Japan? And you talk about this a little bit. Like, do men get their nails done?
Oh, so yeah, because this was in my Japanese for professional purposes class, and we were talking about it's important to keep your nails clean and professional looking. And so I just raised my hand to clarify, and I meant like, do you mean like they get manicures, or what do you? And she was like, oh no.
Oh, no.
Like you're expected to do it at home, and do it yourself, but no, it would be seen as feminine. And the only time that I was really ever in a position when I was working at K Jewelers, it was brought up that hey, if you wanted, you could go do that because I don't know, maybe it would help sell things if you have nice hands. But
I get made fun of on my paintball team because I wear a neck protector, and 80%
just to not die or what?
No, nobody wears a neck protector except for sissies, right? So like,
I have no clue. I have no frame of reference.
Okay, so here's the problem with
you just don't want to get shot in the neck, right?
I don't care about getting shot in the neck. So like, I used to get shot in the neck all the time. I still do. I just have a neck protector on. But like so paintballs leave like really nasty welts sometimes.
Right.
And not even just welts, they like tear the skin off. And it like I've got scars. Actually, I have a scar on my neck from a paintball. And I've never worn a neck protector. So 80% of the reason why I wear one is because Lauren likes the fact that I wear one. The other 20% is I don't like paintball welts. Like can look like hickeys. And like I don't like being on camera and having to explain that it's not a hickey and it's a paintball welt, which is arguably worse.
Which is the opposite of perceived as feminine or gay. It's extremely masculine, probably. Maybe
but
I don't know.
I feel like I'm in a position now where like those are things that should not be coming up in conversation. And in high school it was cool, it was one thing, but then like now it's like I don't want my neck to be the focus of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so I just like to have the neck protector on, so like even if I get shot in the neck, I'm not gonna like lose skin over it. And but I get made fun of on my paintball team for it. They call me the throat goat, which is a blowjob joke. But they also my buddy Alex on the team wears one too, and they call him the same thing. So I call us the throat goats, and he goes, "No, we're not a team. Like we're not." But no, like I honestly don't care what people think. Like about me at all. Even all through high school, people thought I was gay.
Which, I got that in high school.
Yeah. Look who's gay now. Not me. I swear.
I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't get it. It's one of those other things. Like they're just social situations that I experience where I don't know how to respond or react. And general, like seeing any sort of bullying. There's a lot of instances where I'm like, even now to this day, I'm just like, why are you doing that? That's weird.
Because they're insecure.
Yeah, but you can't just say, hey, is everything all right at home? Because because you don't want to make them have a breakdown then and there. So yeah.
Anyways, that was my cold open. Nails, because we talked about it a little bit, and I think it's important to take care of you. I've got a 6-step skincare routine when every day I wake up and go to bed. What's yours, like 3, 2?
When my life's going well and I'm doing things that I should be, it's sunscreen and bio oil.
Too, yeah.
I do, in general, I think I do the bare minimum work before you start seeing diminishing returns. Like if it takes much more time, I'm like, it's fine. Yeah. I'll just get old and not look as good. I don't care. I'm already going to be in the mountains or on a beach or, without people most likely. So
yeah,
that's the goal.
All right. What are we talking about? It's over here. Here it is. Okay. So this topic came up. Again, like every other freaking topic that we talk about, it came up on Facebook, and it was actually Skylar had posted it. Skylar Mew, who we interviewed like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a post that I very much agree with, and it kind of goes in line with a little bit about what we talked about last episode in regards to hiring out people and contractors to do the work on behalf of you when you have no control over it. And it went further than just like outsourcing the work, and it went more into kind of like the arbitrage that we were talking about, which is you're just bringing people on and then you're not even doing the work at all. You're just outsourcing 100% of it, letting people kind of like take the reins on it, and then delivering that as a result to your client, with your client not even knowing that you're outsourcing 100% of it. And there's definitely an ethical dilemma there, which is a lot of the reason why Cody and I don't outsource things. We don't outsource things primarily because we don't have control over it. It's, we want, and the margin issue too. When you outsource work, you have lower margins because now you've got to pay the outsourcing fee versus just having everything in-house and having a documented process for it. When you don't control it either, you've also got to have processes for your contractors to follow, and not all of them will. And you don't control necessarily the output, and also deliverables. If you need something done by a certain amount of time, people can't deliver on that. But I'm getting sidetracked. I always get sidetracked in these live episodes where we're in the same room. Anyways, so the actual question came up is, should the marketing industry be regulated, like legally, in terms of like people having a license to perform or some kind of certificate to perform certain aspects of marketing, specifically digital marketing? Because the argument is marketers have the ability to kind of play on the naivety.
Sure.
People being naive, business owners being naive, and ruining reputations and businesses due to poor marketing practices. And I've got my own beliefs on this, especially being a self-proclaimed libertarian. But I also have some beliefs that I think might shock you about it. So I wanted to hear. I didn't really tell you about this, Cody. So this is going to be a lot of riffing here. Have you ever considered the idea of the marketing industry being regulated to any degree? Let's just start there.
I mean, it already is, right? I mean, they have the FTC.
The Federal Trade Commission
coming in and, based on false advertising, taking care of lawsuits as needed.
They do, but I would argue the FTC is extremely ineffective, especially in the digital marketing age. I think they primarily focus on...
Oh, I'm just saying it's not the full Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing some things to have some sort of regulation, but as far as a qualification of some sort, I think you go for accounting to become an accountant. Do you have to go for marketing to become a marketer? Well, then what about car dealers, right? Should you have to go to school to sell cars? If you're doing sales at all, should you have to get some sort of qualification first in order to sell things? I think generally that those things become prohibitive and that they're detrimental to the lower class, because you're making the barrier to entry higher so that there's even tougher mobility between the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's already certain industries that require this, like the hair care industry. You have to have a certification or license to be a hairstylist in most states. I don't know if it's all, but and that goes beyond just like applying chemicals to hair. That goes to like just cutting hair. I talked to Lauren about this before, and I was like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think everybody should be able to cut hair. And then she kind of educated me a little bit and was like, no, like it actually does go into healthcare situations. Now you're dealing with people's scalps and chemicals, and even when you're not dealing with chemicals, you still have to be alert of like people's like scalp conditions and things like that, which made sense. And then like even in our own industry, the lawn care industry, in a lot of states, in order to like as a homeowner, I can apply fertilizer and weed control to my lawn, but I can't charge someone to do so. Or I can't charge someone to apply fertilizer to their lawn and sell that service without an applicator's license.
Yep.
And so there's already a lot of situations out there where like you can be a lawn care company and you can mow a lawn and charge someone for with no license. But as soon as you want to apply fertilizer to the lawn and sell that as a service, then you have to have a license. So I've kind of I've thought about this, and the libertarian in me says, no certifications. You can charge anybody to do anything. But I think I honestly think the libertarian stance on me says you can do anything you want for free, but if you want to charge someone for it, then there should be some sort of qualification for it. Because the impact goes beyond just you. It now goes beyond to other people. And again, an argument can be made as well that, well, they are the ones who engaged in, who agreed to your services. But, there's a line between what's said in closed conversation and what's, publicly displayed out there. And there are private certifications out there, like being Google Partners and having that badge there, but they require like a spend limit, which is in order to be a partner.
Well, you can get certified for free.
Yeah, you can get certified for free, but your company doesn't receive any kind of distinguishment between that.
Right.
So I'll tell you where I kind of land preliminarily, and this could change in the future, but I've only been thinking about this since I saw the status update like yesterday.
We're freestyling.
Yeah.
This is just off the cuff.
And so here's where I stand. I think anybody should be able to provide and sell marketing services without any regulation. However, when it comes to paid media, I would be open to discussions about having some kind of license or a certification to charge people to run paid media on behalf of a client.
That makes sense. You're effectively a financial advisor at that point.
Yeah.
Like you are handling their money for them, and they're going to have expectations for it. So I guess I could see that. I guess part of my issue though with marketing is that it reminds me of esports, in that when I hear esports,
it's a failing industry.
I just think, okay, what's the sport? I understand that.
I've got a whole tangent on this.
Okay.
But
you know what I mean?
Continue. Yeah. Continue.
It changes. The game changes. They have similarities, right? If you're doing like first-person shooters, that's a whole thing. If you're doing fighting games, that's a whole thing. But the game changes. It's not one game that the rules stay the same the whole time. And the same thing is true with marketing. There are different platforms in different places, and you can do things in different places. And it would be difficult to, try to regulate all of those different places. And they already do have, laws on what you can and can't say. Whether or not people know them is, a different thing. Yeah. But you should.
Yeah, and that's just like false advertising laws, and yeah, they have laws about it, but in terms of just being like, yeah, and it goes to your financial advisor thing, like, which is really what it comes down to, is when it comes down to paid media, is should you be able to take people's money or manage people's money with their own credit card, and like, are you qualified to do that?
Wait, so what? Does it make sense with esports? Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. Like, you're gonna have a professional esports team that's like focused on Counter-Strike versus a professional esports team that's focused on like, Rocket League. Totally different ball games. And same thing with paid media. Like, you've got not even paid media, but you've got SEO, and then you've got PPC, and then you have Facebook ads and TikTok ads, and like, they're all different mediums. But at the end of the day, it's still one conglomerated industry with vastly different mediums.
I think that's why people see marketing the way that they see it too, though. And in a lot of ways, it's a new money business.
Mhm.
If you want to establish money for the big leagues, you can do it in marketing because it is low entry. And if you are exceptional, then you can make a lot of money pretty quickly. And then, whereas when I think of old money, it's in a lot of heavily regulated industries at this point.
Yeah, like oil and like healthcare and stuff.
You're probably surprised at all this because you're like, this doesn't sound anything like what you say you believe. So no, I do think that that trend exists for a reason, and that old money and regulated industries that what's the word?
Co-mingle. Conglomerate.
I'm dropping it. No words. Just losing them.
It's the in-person thing.
Yeah. The correlation.
Oh, there
Boom. It is. Correlation is to become prohibitive and make it harder for businesses to enter into that space. And I get it. I think you need to find the balance of how do you protect people and consumers from getting ripped off or, worse, especially with health things. But also giving people a fair chance and keeping it from becoming so prohibitive that nobody has a shot of even starting a business there.
I'm not a proponent of having to like pay exorbitant amounts in order to have a regulation or have like a regulated license or something. The applicator's license in most states are like a couple $100 to take the test, and like the material I think is relatively free or cheap. And like I'm okay with that because like if you can't afford to do a couple $100 to start a business, then like you shouldn't start a business. Even lawn care, to get a lawnmower, gotta have a couple $100. Like everything is going to require some output in order for you to start. But what I don't agree with is like regulating something to where you have to go to college and spend multiples of thousands of dollars to take a few courses. I'm adamantly opposed to that. But if it became a situation where someone was like, or like the government said, hey, we're going to step in order to run paid media for people and charge people for it, you've got to be certified in paid media, and it's $200 for the application and the test. I'd be like, okay, yeah. At least at this point, that's how I feel. But like, I could change how I feel.
It makes sense.
About it more.
It does make sense.
I want to go on my tangent about esports. Okay, I think I've argued this since my senior year of high school because people argued that paintball wasn't a sport, and I was like, okay. And the argument was, it was a very like high school style argument, which means that none of the points made sense. But they're like, there has to be like a level of physical activity. And I was like, listen here, you son of a bitch. So paintball is excruciatingly physical. You're basically squatting the entire time. And if you're this kid was arguing to me that golf was a sport. I was like, if you're gonna argue that golf is a sport and paintball is not, you can eat a fist. And so he's like, well, it has to have a ball. I'm like, it has millions of balls. I was like, don't tell me it doesn't have. I was like, first, and then so what? Now you're gonna say track isn't a sport, or you're gonna say like discus isn't.
This sounds like a high school conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So, but then the argument comes in where it's like, okay, well, the Olympics are the sports, right? Well, then like chess is in the Olympics, so is chess a sport? And they're like, no, it has to have physical activity. Which, okay, so this is where I draw the delineation between sports. There's a difference between a sport and a competitive game.
Oh, okay.
And so esports, in my mind, should be called e-competitive games, or e-competitive gaming or something, or e-gaming.
E-gaming. That's cool. What's the E? What is that?
Electronic. Electronic, yeah. So just like esports.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's very embarrassing.
Maybe I knew it and I just forgot.
Okay, so like chess is a competitive game, not a sport. in my definition of a sport is something that requires athleticism. And again, someone can make the argument that athleticism is anything that increases your heart rate, which, okay, whatever. But I'm going to go off of basically it requires extraneous physical activity that gets your heart rate in like the target zone for long periods of time. Having said that, I consider golf a competitive game because your heart rate doesn't get your heart rate up. Now, again, this is a very subjective definition, but it's also something that I want you all to talk about with your loved ones and friends. But bowling, for instance, competitive game, not a sport. And the amount of people this offends is shocking.
Really?
Yeah, because there are people who like bowl or play pool competitively.
Oh, they just want to be able to call it.
They just want to call it a sport. I'm just like, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you want to be good at a sport, like join a local flag football league.
I guess I agree with the e-gaming. That would make more sense. Some beef that I have with it is I think that it's just, this is my impression, it could be totally wrong, but it seems like it's getting glorified as this very good thing, and it could become a problematic thing where if it gets to the point where people aren't taking care of themselves and all they're doing is gaming, which again, it is not a physical activity. So I mean, you can do the same in sports too, right? You can overwork yourself, or you can get into a bad physical and health place, but that does worry me or concern me, I guess, with esports.
In the pro esports teams that I've seen, though, I haven't seen like a lot of overweight competitors. Mm-hmm. Like, they always seem to be like somewhat like healthy looking. But it's also, I want to go back to my comment too, where I in passing said that it's a failing industry, because it is. Like, I know it seems like it's blowing up a lot. It's becoming more accessible, but there is no esports organization that's actually profitable. Like FaZe, like the biggest esports, they were a publicly held company, and now they're like in risk of being taken off the stock market because they've dropped so much. But like every esports organization is like bleeding money, and because it doesn't make any money, so it's a failing industry. But it's not. It is glorified, like you said. It's just me losing my train of thought.
Yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me. I don't want people to kid themselves in thinking that it's a sport in the traditional sense and that you're getting the same physical activity and health benefits.
Yeah. That was my tangent. So back to regulating the marketing industry. I don't have a lot more to say about this. I just wanted to talk about this a bit because it's not a concept I've ever thought of until I saw this. It's like, should it be regulated? On one hand, like for us, it would be good if it was, because we're in a financial position to be to do whatever certification is required.
Right. It wouldn't mean much for us.
But
we would do whatever we had to, and then we keep going.
Yeah, and it would like definitely weed out a lot of I guess quote competition, even though we don't really see it as competition. Oh, speaking of, Google's calling. This is picked up my phone, and I have caller ID has Google calling me right now. Probably just somebody. I should have put him on the podcast.
I'd be like, "Hey, I'm your new strategist for this quarter. Would you like to spend more money?"
No. It's not something I had thought of before, and I just thought it'd be good to talk about because what if the certification was required before we had started Evergrow and we had to jump that hurdle? I think we'd probably be less open to it, but still do it anyways. I don't know.
Yeah. What would become if it is that cheap, then it is still the entry level industry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's only because lawn care is also entry level friendly, but I guess in some ways I'm in the I see the marketing industry as potential startup money to get into the big boy game, which I'm not sure what that would be, but I generally see why that's the case. And I think it's smart too, because those industries that are more regulated are more stable. And that's why once you're in that position, it's a good place to be, because you have a lot more of the stability. Whereas, if your business focused pretty much entirely on Google and Facebook, and then there's two massive changes to those things, your parasitic business is gone, right?
You're parasitic, but explain what you mean by parasitic business. I know exactly what you mean, but
your business only exists because of the host, which is Google and Facebook. And if those two things were gone, and you built your business entirely on that, you're a business, or you're a parasite now without a host. So you'll either die or you have to go find a new host. And it's just volatility that you see one or two ways. You accept it and you're okay with it, and or you diversify as much as possible.
That's why I like SEO, is because there's always going to be search. And so whether you're optimizing for Google or Bing or Yahoo, well, I guess it's the same now, or what's the China one? Baidu,
Yandex.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you're optimizing for. Even when AI takes the stage, like an AI generated search or AI like focused search engine, even when that takes a stage, it's still going to be search. It's just how the information is displayed and relayed is going to be different, and how you optimize for that will be different. But do you have anything else? This is gonna be our shortest episode ever.
How short is it?
It's gonna be like in the 20-minute marks.
That's it?
Well, it's gonna be under 30, but yeah.
Jeez. I don't think so.
No,
I really don't.
Well, guys, if you have, and ladies, if you have anything that I would like to hear what you guys think about regulation in the marketing industry in general. If you guys have any thoughts on, whether certain aspects of it should be regulated, or if you think absolutely not, it should not be in any capacity, let us know. Comment in the episode, or maybe I'll do a little question on Spotify that you guys can answer to.
Oh, hey, leave a review.
Oh, do that.
We haven't asked that in a long time. But
we also haven't received a review in a long time. So coincidence?
Yeah.
I think not.
There is a direct correlation between our feelings and the reviews that we have, and that when we get more, we are happier, and when we go a long time without one, we're sad. So,
yeah.
Well, I guess if you want us to keep, being sad, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Yeah, so leave a review.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
See ya.